Well, that has become familiar music to many of us over the last 16 days. Welcome, everyone, to the 2023 Medical Affairs Innovation Olympics final and closing ceremony. It's hard to say, but the day is here. What a journey and an adventure it has been. Tamar Sapir and Amit Lalwani are our two finalists. Let's welcome them first. Tamar, Amit, thank you. Thank you for making this journey and advancing this far. We have our judges also. Some surprises coming up later as well. So Liz Delgado, Steve Royal, how are you? Great to see you. I know Kirtira Pandya is also joining us. She'll be on video later. Noor Lababidi, CEO and co-founder of Telemedics. How are you, Noor? Our competitor and also winner in several different categories. When we'll distribute those virtually in a little bit later. So I talked about music there, the intro music, and I have a surprise because at the end of the second round, I asked our competitors what song they would play if they were to win. This was before even the semifinals, and they all provided their songs. Now, I didn't share them with the judges because I didn't want the choice of music to influence the decision. No. However, they have shared the music, so we will be celebrating. So thanks for joining the festivities as well. This is a competition. It's going to be a tough one today, I think, but it's also going to be a celebration here. Let's revisit these last 16 days. I created a highlight video, also a song that was originally composed by a Ukrainian songwriter specifically for the Innovation Olympics. And you'll have a chance to see each other here and some of the highlights as well, which I created just today, in fact. So preparation right down to the wire. Okay. And here it goes.
raise up my hands and say, let the games begin.
That sure brings some memories, right? Thank you, Steve. I guess that's from my video editing. I'm still learning.
It looked like some professional production values there to me. Tim, fantastic effort.
You're always too kind. Thank you very much. So I know that we're going to get into the competition, but I thought we would reflect on some of the lessons learned from the 16 days. Our expert panelists from all over the world, and if you don't mind, I'll share some of my highlights, and then also open it up to all of you as well. So, a few months ago, I reflected after several different family gatherings with friends, birthday parties, Thanksgiving dinners, even last year. And as it often happens when you work a very long time in a particular industry on a field, or you start to reflect. And when you have people that you respect very well, who are mentors, as friends and family, ask you about the trust issues with the pharma industry where you've spent all your career, or when they tell you that, look, I have a VP of medical affairs that I know, whom I can tell about this Innovation Olympics event that you're doing. However, I don't know what he does. And we don't know what he does. And he works in clinical development as a physician. Some of these kinds of questions really force us to think about our ultimate purpose and our contributions that we make. When we know that we've seen medical affairs departments, which make up only 2 to 5% of a typical pharma organization, turn around an entire organization through the insights that they deliver, have direct impact on the business, create shareholder revenue, increase the valuation of a company after an analysis, a head-to-head analysis, for example, by $40 million in 4 hours at a late-breaking abstract, or conduct a journal club that leads to a study, a mechanistic study that re-energizes the entire sales force across the organizations. We've seen medical liaisons in pharma start a study with an investigator as an idea, as a concept that grows into a large company-sponsored study, and that changes how the risk is defined for cholesterol when people start to take statins, right? The Jupiter trial, which probably Liz is very familiar with. And so this is why I think it's a very important time for all of us to, in medical affairs, to really aim a little bit higher and to learn how to communicate and quantify our contributions on the business as well as on the healthcare community. And that's why we started this Olympics event by talking about the ultimate purpose in healthcare, how we are impacted by our environment, and how we impact not only patient outcomes, but how patients interact with the healthcare system. And we dared ourselves. We dared to ask some questions that others won't dare ask, which is our duty to our generation, our future generation, the children, right? To expect to live longer and better lives based on all of the advances that we've made. That's how we started off this event. And we revisited our own youth as well, right? In order to help each other have lives that are more sustainable. We talked about the value of life being defined not by physical well-being, but also by the quality of life, by sustainability, and the need for creating a new renaissance in healthcare, which created beauty that was unparalleled, but that delivered wisdom through to everyone, for to the community, for this, not for the art itself or the science or the reasoning, but in order to make it accessible to everyone and close the generational gap as well. So those were some of the lessons that we can take in our healthcare community that we need to focus on, not just on patient outcomes, right, alone, but how likely those patients are to receive care, to have continuity of care. Then we had our CEO of Cambrian Bio, James Pear, join us. And he told in a very memorable story, I think, about his grandfather, who was 80 years old, had been diagnosed with cancer. And however, he was very much young at heart. He was using playing online chess, and using high frequency, even stock trading online. However, his cancer diagnosis was dismissed as someone that was old, and as a young child, James Pear told us the story of how he was frustrated with how the healthcare system really treated people of that age, right, elderly. And so he went on his journey, right, and he he became an entrepreneur. After being a PhD in cell therapy, and he shared with us how he started this longevity platform company, Cambrian Bio, that also has 12 different subsidiaries, 2 of which are very much advanced in the pipeline. And he gave us a very promising look, I think, into the future, into children of the future, maybe expecting to live 20-30% longer, maybe expecting to live 100, not 80. Right? And so he left us with a lot of hope in terms of 2 proteins for which there had been a race for 20 years, Agrin and AMPK, 2 companies, one from Sweden, Amplifier Therapeutics, and one from Israel, Velacor, that he told us about, that will enter human clinical trials after a race for 20 years in obese patients, overweight, and pre-diabetic patients. We also learned about the surveys of patients. When asked whether or not they were likely to take drugs that allowed them to live longer, only 25% responded yes, based on one nonprofit. When asked, however, if they would take a drug that would help them live better or have a better quality of life, that was 50%. But when asked if they would take a drug that would prevent them from having Alzheimer's, osteoporosis, and cancer, 90% responded yes. And so he made a very strong case, I think, for preventive medicine, which we continued throughout that opening ceremony with Rashad Massoud, visiting faculty at Harvard School of Public Health, and Rob Adamowski, Vice President of Medical Affairs at Corcept Therapeutics, who provided a health system as well as a commercial and medical affairs perspectives on leaving a mark in healthcare quality, and provided us with a lot of the details about global quality improvement initiatives that were done in India, across different continents, and ultimately that needed multidisciplinary teamwork, collaboration from physicians, from healthcare workers. And what I found interesting about Rashad's presentation was that he told us how he systematically broke down all the initiatives over time, and he inspired his team remotely, globally, to know at every single point where they were, how their progress was, evolving over time, and in such a way that they knew their personal contributions, and he showed how he closed the gap in gender inequity and blood pressure control in India, right? I think Rob Adamowski provided us with a lot of great input on how to build a team, a team that delivers outcomes such as the ones Rashad provided, but in the medical affairs and healthcare on the industry side. He provided a great case study of Prevention Bio, right, where he hired people based on not only the years of experience, but what they had done with experience, the passion that they had, right? A lot of the talent management principles that he used in really favoring and prioritizing those healthcare providers and professionals who had a good understanding of the totality of healthcare. And he provided a very important also example of perspective versus knowledge, right? Very often in medical affairs, he said, and these are his words, we think that knowledge is power. However, it's really perspective that very often counts, and that perspective can differ from a patient to a physician. Where the Cushing syndrome was one example he used, in which the tumor that is removed is usually considered by physicians as a positive patient outcome. However, when patients were asked that same question, they only 50% compared to 90% of physicians said that was a positive for them. And so it's very important, I think, there was a theme. I think there was a theme throughout the event here, throughout our opening ceremony, of really understanding that we need to not just talk about patient outcomes, but how to create a better, more sustainable healthcare community. In innovation, it's really a lot about your humility and intellect. It takes many years to become a physician or a healthcare professional. A lot of us are very ambitious, and we really associate years of experience with, let's say, quality of care, which has been disproven by studies. And Melissa Norcross, transformational strategy officer and teacher of organizational change, as well as Johnny Nat, our principal and founder of JJK Workplace, they spoke about those underlying behaviors and how to inspire teams in order to be able to innovate, how to be humble, how to solve problems before they take place, was one of the points that I took away from Melissa Norcross. She also talked about an important sports formula that is used in hockey, for example, where this sport uniquely counts assists as points as well. Goals plus assists being counted as points, right? And so I see medical affairs, or whether in the industry or medical professionals in healthcare systems, as providing those assists that don't always necessarily directly generate in sales, but they can have magnitude of impact on an organizational scale, right? Johnny Nat provided us with his important insights on emotional intelligence, being able to quantify behaviors as well, right? And learn fast fail fast, but learn faster, right? That's what I really remembered from his discussion. And of course, there's two more speakers that I want to make quick comments on, and that is, of course, our keynote speaker, Gary Hall, right? Who not many people know, but he was the first Olympian gold medalist to win as a type 1 diabetes patient. And he provided us important insight, I think, into competition, to the fact that he won all his gold medals by only hundredths of a second. So it's very little. Sometimes it's very invisible. You need a photo finish to distinguish the first from the second place, just like in sports. And same goes in medicine. And when we talked about the discipline he used in training in order to have that edge, he used the same discipline as a patient as well. And he's been one of the most passionate, I think, patient advocates that I've ever seen, where he has testified for the Senate, and he was a true advocate of the healthcare community, I think, where he wore the hat of the patient and he demonstrated courage. When we talk about competition, I think another lesson that was very memorable for me was that it was only when he started to respect his competition that he learned that he did better, and he was able to win against his rivals, right? Against Alexander Popov, I think he mentioned. And then I'll, of course, finish with Dr. Pier Antonio Russo, a cardiac transplant, heart transplant surgeon, who is also a machine learning expert, worked an expert in population medicine, health reimbursement, health economics. And he told us the importance of social determinants of health, sharing data that demonstrated that EMR alone is not enough in order for us to identify patients that have rare disease, right? There are 25 million patients with rare disease in the United States. Only 7,000 specialists, and many of the specialists do not have the means or the background, the education, or in order to be able to treat these patients. And he made a very strong case how machine learning has been able to help identify patients the right way for these diseases as well. And he provided data as well to show that the positive predictive value, if you use only clinical biomarkers of patients, is only about 50 to 60%. Once you add social determinants of health, it becomes 80%, meaning that you need to be able to understand who needs hospital home model, who needs remote patient monitoring, some of the topics that he talked about with his vast experience as a academic physician, chief of pediatric surgery, as well as medical director and vice president of patient health services, various national health plans, and a teacher at medical school to this day. So we've had a tremendous expert panel and group of speakers who inspired us. Those are some of my thoughts. Anyone want to share some of their highlights for those who had attended or who may be tuning in right now?
I might jump in and rudely jump in instead of raising my hand, Tim. I just want to congratulate you first of all on an amazing event and meeting. That's obviously a lot of work, hard work's gone into it, and some tremendous moments. And from Gary Hall, a 5-time Olympic medalist, opening the game, and to all the competitions that's taken place. But I think two probably key takeouts for me, and leaning on what you've just said then. The industry needs innovation, and it needs innovative thinkers. It's very easy to be overwhelmed working in the huge environment and landscape that is healthcare, to think that one small idea can't change the world or can't truly impact somebody's health down the track once you've implemented. But from what you've just discussed, it can. In a big, slow-moving, traditional top 20 pharma company, innovative thinkers within that company can move the dial. So, and these sort of competitions are amazing at getting these ideas out in the public domain and discussing and fleshing them out and figuring out ways that they can be further iterated to improve that. So it's an amazing event, very worthwhile. And secondly, to Gary Hall's comment that you mentioned, he didn't really start to appreciate how good he could be and appreciate the nature of competition until he respected his competition. There was a moment that happened yesterday between Mahek and Amit, where Mahek actually said, look, when this is all done, I'd like to get together with you. I think we could collaborate on this idea. These guys are in the heat of battle, competition in a semi-final with gold medals and prize money on the line, and still could take time. And it was a real celebrate humanity moment for me, which reflects the Olympic movement in general. So, it's been a great event. It's been a pleasure to be a part of it, and kudos to everyone organising and involved.
Thank you. And you've been a big part of that, Steve. So I thank you as well.
So
I think Noor. Yeah. Oh,
Noor, go ahead. I think you were going to jump in before.
What I wanted to say about this competition, it's very short. Well, as a startup founder, yes, in really short amount of time, huge progress my startup made because of this event. Listening to these awesome people that give speeches in this Olympics, and networking with innovators and the competitors, learn from them, the competitors who were winning better places than what I was gaining, learning from them, seeing their pitch. Obviously, that's also a lot of inspiration and information. And also the networking. So like I was able to get a really key new team member to my startup because of this event that I would have never found. And it's like exactly the missing component of my startup was found in this Olympics. So, and the feedback from Liz and Tim on my first pitch helped me with a new member, Rashad Masoud. Actually, he's now the third co-founder and chief medical officer in my startup. So the combination of Liz, Tim, Rashad, almost the startup pivoted. It's not really pivot, it's actually more focus on what is the right problem to solve and why us are the people with a unique advantage that will make it a successful startup. So the competition, of course, respecting the competitors, and the most important is to network with these super knowledgeable people. So I'm thankful. It was a great event, and I hope to be part of it every year.
Thank you. I know you were part of it last year, and Noor and Steve as well. So I know you're going to be part of it again. So thank you.
Well, I'll go ahead and jump in unless you have somebody else on cue there, Tim.
No, go ahead, Liz.
I will say my first year, and I have loved every minute of it. I will say that what I've witnessed, these past 2 weeks is like true mentorship by everyone, not judges to competitors. It's been everyone to everybody. It's been so rewarding, but it's also given me so much hope, right, of what to expect in the future. So many great ideas. I've heard so many wonderful great ideas, and they're all in different places in the spectrum of development, but all of them are fulfilling so many different unmet needs out there. And I will say another thing that I found these last 2 weeks is I'm really optimistic about the future and how technology could really unlock, our power to be able to do better, right, for patients. Because what I've noticed here is everybody here is truly committed in trying to improve, people's lives, either through themselves or through others and helping others. And I caught the same thing, Steve, that you caught yesterday. between Mahek and Amit, and it completely warmed my heart. And I will say, you get just so much inspiration from seeing something like that. So again, Tim, thank you so much for putting something like this together, really innovative in the way that it you've planned it and put it together. And thank you so much for letting me be a part of this. And I look forward to more of these types of events where people really come together and really try to problem solve. So those are my 2 cents. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's the feelings mutual, I can say, and I can tell you all that it's even though we've come already this far and we're basically concluding this event, it's somewhat bittersweet, almost just like true Olympics are, right? When you come towards the end. And so it's somewhat sad that the competition is coming to is to its conclusion. However, I know that we will continue our conversations and our community and an Olympic village that I think we've been able to create based on what I'm hearing. So I'm really glad and happy about that. So I think you can probably tell that we don't want this competition to end yet, and that's why we're we're kind of stalling a little bit here. But we have, I think, all the judges. What I want to do is with Noor here also, I want to very quickly show all the winners here as well, because we essentially took many different sports and we added that sport element to the format of this competition here, right? In our judging criteria, in how how we had the multiple stages of competition as well. And we had individual events, 6 individual events. However, whom we recognized. In addition, we had special recognition awards. However, today what we are competing for, what Amit and Tamar are competing for, is an overall champion, right? So the best analogy I could come up with here is a decathlon athlete in track and field, right? Who competes in many different individual events, or let's say a gymnast or a speed skater, and across 4 different distances, there's a champion, right? An overall champion. It's not easy to be very objective, right? It's because medical affairs is very diverse, it's very specialized, as is healthcare, right? And however, we came up with 5 criteria to be as objective as possible, where we didn't rank one competitor versus another, but we ranked ideas, because this is the festival of ideas, really, competition of ideas, right? And their attributes. So with that in mind, I just wanted to congratulate each and every one person here that you will see very quickly for everyone. And the certificates are being printed, basically, are going to be printed soon, okay? Digital certificates as well, as we speak. With only two places need to be determined at this point, and them you see here in front of you. So we have a bronze medalist that we should recognize, Tanya Colonna. So she has been granted $3,000 and bronze medal. CEO and co-founder of Aura Muscles, and she, by the way, also did submit this comment. She couldn't stay longer, but she congratulates both of you, Tamar and Amit, and she'll definitely stay in touch. So let's congratulate Tanya, very strong competitor. Yes. Okay. Tamar Sapir. So I mentioned. So Tamar competed in Medical Insights. We had 5 submissions this year, Medical Insights, and she won this individual event award as well. So congratulations, Tamar. Let's keep the festivities going.
Woohoo!
Thank you, Noor. I know you will. Great. Mahek Chatrapati. Okay, he won the field medical category winner. He's a CEO and co-founder of DocNexus. Amit, yes, Mahek. We have Amit Lalwani, whom you'll see today. He won the scientific communications category. So congratulations on that.
So sorry, Tim, I'm not the CEO of DocNexus, as it says on the certificate.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Okay. So as I was saying, this is very much improvised. It's still being printed. I'll make sure to edit that. So yes, you're the CEO. Sorry, you're the founder of Pharma
Apps developer.
Pharma Apps Developer. Right. So we'll change that. John Sink, launch category from Zealand Pharma, Associate Medical Director. His idea was related to rare disease patient-centric strategy. So congratulations, John. I don't think he's going to be here today. He wasn't able to make it. Noor, whom we have here, was the most active ideator among the competitors. Okay, I think we his mind was constantly moving, and it was constantly connecting with everyone, and we appreciated that. He definitely helped contribute to this Olympic village. So, Noor, thank you. Liz Delgado. Liz, congratulations. You're the most active. You participate in every single session from the competitors, provide lots of feedback. So in the expert judge category, she was the most active. And she shares that with Kirtida, by the way, whom the Huva event on the Huva platform that we used. Yes. So Kirtida, congratulations to you. We have also special recognitions now. Okay, Idea Sprint Champ. So these are for various particular attributes or qualities of the ideas. Mahek Chatrapati, he won the Idea Sprint Champion. Okay, he was the Idea Sprint Champion in by being recognized as the simplest, shortest, and fastest idea to implement. So Mahek, congratulations again. He won the Idea with Hurdles Champion as well. Idea with Hurdles award, because this was an idea that was thought to address possible hurdles or barriers, as well as the Idea Long Jump Champion, most forward-thinking idea with longest term potential. Michelle Chernak won the Idea High Jump Champion, was the Idea High Jump Champion for most idealistic, lofty concept with a vision as well. So congratulations, Michelle. And then Noor won a second award as well, Idea Shot Put Champion. Okay, so for a bold and most idealistic, lofty concept, again, with that, right? So thank you very much. Really happy for this for all the kind of effort that everyone really put to this. And now let's get into our competition. Again, these are the criteria for everyone in case you're tuning in for the first time. You missed the semifinals: validity, predictability, causality, novelty, applicability. I think this applies across the different event categories and our two decathletes, if you will, today, who will be competing. They'll have 10 minutes each to present. They'll address questions from competitors, from judges, attendees. Make sure to post your questions in the chat, in the comments, please. And with that, we'll start. Let's begin. Okay, we'll have real-time voting again, and we'll display votes as they come in. Okay, and real-time feedback. All right, and we have a timer as well here. So 10 minutes. So you have 10 minutes. Tamar and Amit, I believe Tamar, you'll begin. Is that correct? Okay. All right. So and the timer will be here backstage. So we'll be strict. It said is the final. Okay. So we'll be very strict with the time here. And we welcome your questions, everyone. Go ahead. Yeah, you can start. Yep.
Good. Well, I'm so excited to present to you again Tapped today. This has been an incredible experience for us, and Tim, you have inspired so much with your opening words, because this has been really a culmination of all the work that TAP really reflects in terms of really coming together as a team and improving patient care and driving quality improvement. And you guys, the judges and the speakers and the competitors, have been with us throughout this journey. And I've learned about what TAP's mission is. And myself, I have worked for 2 decades of my career, as well in type 1 diabetes research, but also very much in medical education, quality improvement, and worked very closely with health systems, with payers, providers, pharmacies, and trying to address the silos in healthcare. And our mission, as we embarked 3 years ago, is to eliminate those blind spots in the patient journey in a very fragmented healthcare system. But in order to adopt solutions that are very effective, it is very clear to me that first of all, we need to meet the patient closer. And any solution needs to be very easy to adopt for both patients and care teams, needs to be integrated within the workflows, and very important to be also cost effective for entire healthcare system. So our model and approach is really to ensure that we can seamlessly connect patients back to the healthcare team when needed at the right time. So I actually want to start with a patient perspective. It is really important for us always to ground ourselves and start with what's really important. And this is one of many examples that we have captured. And it's really important to remember patients are struggling and needs to be supported. They have anxiety about the diagnosis and overwhelmed about the medications that they need to take. And this one patient really represents, I believe, really one of the key challenges that she was part of as she was diagnosed with her ulcerative colitis. And when she joined the TAP program, this is her testimonial, how she feels supported through the system and feels that she has a direct line to her care team. So what is TAPT? A digitally connected smart label system. So we have designed a remote monitoring system that we're using smart labels. And these smart labels, if you guys can see my screen, I'm holding here my pill bottle with a small sticker attached to it. And these stickers, they come in a roll. They're very flexible. They can be attached to your medication package, to your pouch, your blister.
I'm sorry, Tamar, could you show that again? Because we didn't see it. I didn't have the screen.
Here is my CVS bottle with my sticker, and it's also attached to my injection box. So these stickers can be attached pretty much to any container, and are flexible and are completely battery free, right? Very cost effective. Basically what patients need to do when they're receiving that medication with their affixed sticker attached to it, it's all pre-encoded and personalized to them. So it knows exactly who you are, which medications you're taking, when you're supposed to be taking them. And all patients need to do is basically take their smartphone and tap it against that label. There is no application to download. There is no information to populate. Everything is already pre-populated for them. And it is applicable for any mode of administration, any complex medication schedule. Everything is being up to date in a real-time manner. And it provides, first of all, an opportunity for that real-time and point-of-care patient engagement. Very easy and seamless. Patient can do it on their go, anywhere they're at. They don't need to be tied to any specific dispensers or smart caps, and for any medication schedule. And then even if a patient sits in their infusion chair, they're receiving a card where we can start engaging them and understanding really what's happening with them in a real-time manner. So this creates almost a holistic approach where patients and care teams can start connecting in much more seamless way, where we capture real-time adherence data, where every dose becomes a data point. And associated with that, we also understand what are their challenges, what's happening, what are the barriers to care, why patients, what are the barriers for accessing care or delayed care, what are some of the patient-reported outcomes that can be correlated in health outcomes, and start engaging patients in their care. And while all of this information is translated into very actionable insights to the right care team members when needed. And then this helps care teams, of course, integrated within the workflows, within their EMR, their dashboards, so that no information is duplicated, for them to monitor those patients who are most at risk at the right time, and for that information to be provided to them when needed, and to be able to escalate that care and start collaborating with different team members. Now the provider can collaborate with the pharmacist, the case manager, the nurse, and other disciplines as well, and to intervene at the right time, and then escalating the care in an appropriate way. So providing additional resources and services that may apply to that particular patient, because all of that experience is really personalized to them. So closing the loop on both ends and bringing everyone together. So from a data capturing, you can already imagine our approach is going way beyond the pill, right? For that real world data, evidence, and actionable insights, there are opportunities to capture that real-time adherence data, the persistence, discontinuations, access to care, why patients are not starting or delaying their treatment, what are the barriers for them to start their treatment interventions. Like Tim mentioned in the beginning, so many challenges, so much happening in the daily life of patients that we really need to start painting that picture. And through all of these elements, so TAPT really represents many different aspects, but we're really bringing it all together. We're understanding the drivers of worsening outcomes, the social deterrence of health, in a validated approach, and to start risk categorizing these patients and putting an opportunity to personalize the care for these patients based on the risks that they are facing. And then providing an outreach, the right outreach by the right care team members, and to be able to document that and provide opportunities for reimbursement as well for provider teams. So that clinical team and coordination is integrated right within the workflows. I have received questions. So how does it work? Like, how much time would it take the care team members to be involved, and who is really responsible for all of these elements? It took us a while to really understand what would be the right workflow for the care teams. That it's really simple. Three simple steps. You invite a patient. A patient can either self-enroll with an access code, whether it's at the clinic or the pharmacy, or even simpler, automated import directly from your EMR, from your claims data, or from any list. The labels themselves can be omni-channel, affixed whether by the pharmacy that is participating or directly by the manufacturer, packaging automation, prescription delivery partners, or by the patients themselves. And then the care teams can opt in to monitor the data. It can be at the point of care, or a person who is designated to review the data, where the alerts are coming to these care providers in an email, in a simplified way of, you have these patients are at risk, and then they go into their dashboards and taking actions on their patients' challenges and escalating their care. So our novelty is in the simplicity. We are designing a way and a model to objectively, as possible, monitor real-time adherence in a more seamless way, in a real-time manner, making it really flexible, easy to use, non-intrusive, integrated, and importantly also, it's very holistic. So we're not necessarily only monitoring. Monitoring is one piece out of the big picture. It is really looking at beyond the pill, the challenges, the barriers to care, and the care coordination aspect, and importantly, it's cost efficient. So from the very beginning, it was very clear to us that validation and studies and generation of evidence is really important. So we've been, we had external peer review validation. We have published several articles with very positive reviews, both by the peer reviewers and also by the experts we're working with. So we've been very fortunate to partner with large organizations that have started to adopt our system, very passionate from different angles, and it also was important for providers, pharmacies, peers, having that perspective across the multidisciplinary panels with everyone's the value provided by the health system level, C-level executives, pharmacists, providers, leaders of health equity, and importantly, patients, which is we have 1 year impact data where consistently, month over month, our adherence data has demonstrated on average 97% with minimal, with maximum retention rate. We actually have 100% retention over time.
Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, we're just at time, so let's begin wrapping up within a minute.
And actually, I actually wanted to wrap up with this message, because we do have an opportunity to align with the quintuple aim driving policy and reimbursement, but importantly also to synchronize the care among all partners in health. And with the Olympic message in mind, this is my message to all of us today. Let's cheer for those champions who are breaking barriers and innovating, but also for those who are their own champions. We need to do this as a team. And our mission is really to drive and take those blindfolds away from our healthcare system and make a difference. So I'm passing the baton to you. Tap wisely.
Great, thank you. Thank you very much, Tamar. So let's begin to vote. First of all, judges, you have the link, right? This is the first real-time vote. You'll have a chance to change your mind, change your votes as we hear Tamar address the questions from the chat and from everyone. So, Amit, let's first go to you. Please let us know if you have any challenges, any questions or comments for Tamar.
Yeah, sure. So firstly, Tamar, thank you so much for really an exceptional presentation. And I am absolutely impressed with TAPT. Being a patient myself of a chronic condition, it resonates with me and it can be really very helpful. So perhaps we can talk offline. If you can provide me with some free samples, I'd love that. But look, I did have a couple of questions. So I guess, just sort of before I put my questions, I just wanted to, create a scene and perhaps put the context, where my question's really coming from. So it's more about direct patient engagement, right? So, while TAPT Health is helping patients with medication adherence, and it relies on direct patient engagement through technology. Now, we know that, medical affairs has a function in the traditional way. They mainly focus on HCP education and engagement. And so where I'm coming from is, medication adherence, medical affairs might not have a direct influence on the medication adherence, because that's something really that happens between the HCP and the patient. So it's really sometimes falls outside the circles of medical affairs. So the questions I had was like, how does the implementation of TAPT Health impact the traditional role of medical affairs? And then the follow-up from there would be, do you have any data that show, that medical affairs teams have adequately are equipped to handle the technical and data-related aspects of TAPT Health? So if you could please comment on that. Thank you.
Yeah, excellent. So yes, definitely. Medical affairs, of course, as we know, and you guys are all expert in this, are responsible and would care for different reasons. If we're thinking about clinical development, you probably would appreciate the importance of monitoring, ensuring patients are on their therapy, but also having that type of data and very rich type of data in order to understand the effectiveness of drugs and patient experiences, but also retention, right, and persistence. And then if we're looking at patient education, that's the world that I'm coming from, 20 years in that space. Both patient education and clinician education, that's really where we see in our vision, and actually we already have projects underway funded by medical education divisions that provide opportunities, because now it's at the point of care. Patients can engage and have the opportunity to have access to patient education that is very personalized to them, You don't need to. The education comes to them. They don't need to go to any other website. All of it is already streamlined for them, and also for the clinicians, because it's all integrated. When they look at the patient data, the education is right there. The summaries, the checklist, the guidelines. It is very much designed when they're looking at that patient, all the relevant patient provider education is populated for them. So, and then lots of opportunities, of course, from quality improvement, implementation science perspective. This is true implementation science, right? Because it's, and then, of course, from a patient services perspective, this is, we see, and we had actually a lot of discussions through this competition, where medical service, patient services can start collaborating with limited distribution specialty pharmacies and other specialty pharmacies, where this can be a program that can be supported, and start having those specialty pharmacies start using TAPT as a tool, not only as an add-on differentiation, but also start inviting different providers to referring providers, and really start streamlining that mission of TAPT, to start sharing that type of data with payers, with providers. Of course, pharma is involved. So like our mission is to be able to synchronize among all healthcare stakeholders. And that's really where we can start driving the value of not only adherence, but really patient outcomes.
Okay, that's good.
I can go on.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. I think it really makes sense. So just one more question along the same lines. So I saw in one of your slides you showed various partners that you're collaborating with. So I saw a few pharma names in that slide. So do you have any examples of how TAPT has enhanced or altered interactions between medical affairs professionals and HCPs, and also a follow-up from there is like, has TAPT helped medical affairs teams to enhance the strategic decision making or medical planning? If you have any examples, if you could share, that would be great.
Yeah, well, we definitely have lots of examples of how TAPT is able to demonstrate change in not only patient behavior, but clinical care delivery, and optimizing and streamlining that time to care, those gaps in care we're talking about, and then being able to share that back, of course, with the supporters. In this case, those are the medical affairs team, and to provide that information, whether it is, again, whoever is the supporter, being able to provide that type of data for strategic alignment. So we do have actually a lot of good examples.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Tamar. Again, really great presentation, and all the best. I'll really keep cheering for TAPT in future. Thank you.
Thank you, Amit.
Okay, great. So we have some results. Okay, as you just presented, Tamar. All right. So you're doing very well right now. 44.8. I think your average was about 43, I believe, after the second semifinal. So so far you're getting very high marks. I hope you can see my screen here. I just exported the data from our judges. We have 2 other judges just arriving, and we have a surprise guest as well, by the way, Gary Hall. Okay, so he's also listening in. We'll hear from him at the end as well. Let's go to some more comments from any other judges first before we go. We have a comment, Tamar, from our audience, from Rick Johansson as well. And I'm going to put Gary real quick here. Oh, okay. I don't know I know you're on the phone, Gary, but.
Hello.
Okay. How are you? Since I mentioned you're with us in the studio. Thanks for making the time.
Yeah, pleasure. I'm cheering for everyone.
Thank you. So I'm gonna let's ask. Okay, so we had let's see. I want to make sure we keep on track. So we have a question. Any other question from the judges first?
I thought I'd just quickly chime in. That's the first time, unfortunately, but happily, that I've got to see Tamar's presentation, and it's just fantastic. Non-adherence has long been the thought in the side of the pharma industry on multiple fronts. My origins in the industry were in the commercial side, and it was always a huge driver in terms of strategy because of obvious bottom line reasons, and that was the primary focus placed upon us. But obviously now the focus and the attention on the patient side of things has moved in under the medical affairs umbrella, and there's a lot of listening that's going on, which is the first most important part. Patient advisory boards, patient committees, and that type of thing, sounding boards for what they need, what's going to make the difference. So I think your timing is very good, but the further to that, I think there's a much bigger play here as well, and that is, I mean, you've done. My first question was going to be some publications. Are you working on that type of thing to validate the model and maybe do some A/B testing to demonstrate an improvement in adherence in various cohorts and how that could then be leveraged? Because as we all know, non-adherence costs governments, insurers, payers billions. Probably trillions nowadays of dollars globally. So this type of information will be very, very useful for those type of stakeholders. So I was wondering, have you started to investigate developing any modelling that could show cost savings at all levels, not only of interest to the commercial pharma side of things, but also from an insurance and a wider government healthcare play?
Yeah, no, that's definitely, thank you, Steve. That's very top of mind, definitely, to start, because in order to start having those discussions with payers, we will need to demonstrate the validity and, of course, impact from a value, financial return on investment, and cost utilization, right? So our studies, and actually that's the reason why we're really partnering with key institutions, are controlled studies in order to take a look not only at adherence, clinical outcomes, but healthcare utilization. We're doing that both at the clinical side, the pharmacy side, and that collaboration side. So we'll be able to, we're actually looking at the data right now to start putting that together for publication.
Wonderful. I think the product seems to make sense, and I look forward to following the journey along with you, and wish you well.
Thank you, Steve.
So I have just one question that I had never, I hadn't asked before, Tamar. So I know that, in our discussions, right, who would actually be, either inviting a patient or enrolling a patient. I know we've talked about it could be, almost prescribed out of an EMR. I love the fact that there integration with other types of wearables. So we're going to get a lot more information, right, than just the adherence. And when we do adherence, it's not just about side effects. It's many different factors we're going to get out of it. My one question for you is there any thought about making this product also direct to patients? So not a manufacturer, not a payer, because I got to tell you, I'm sure that there is definitely a population of people that want to take a little bit more ownership about, right, the medicines that there are, and basically be able to go and actually share this information with their, with their physician. So I didn't know if that was, I never heard that specifically, and I wondered if you were thinking about taking this directly to the consumer.
Yeah, Liz, that's an excellent question, and actually a topic that has been discussed recently a lot, because initially our focus has been, let's focus on B2C, because there is a lot of opportunities, and we left the direct to consumer probably at the back end. We're receiving so many requests. How can I get it? I want it for my parents. I need it myself. And the way that it is designed, of course, we are working towards that. Patients will be owning their own data, and they will be able to opt in very easily into our backend. And actually, it's already an option for them to opt in and then share that information with their care team. So yes, we're definitely, that's part of our pipeline.
Okay, so Tamar, we have one question from Rick. Rick Johansson, who's been following us across social media and LinkedIn. What happens if the patient taps more than once?
Yeah. So we have a very sophisticated system given to our really talented team, and that's really the engine behind. Depends on if they're tapping in the same, let's say, 30-minute window, that tap will not be recorded, and we will let them know that there is a window and they should be following their provider recommendation. But if they're tapping more than once, then it will be recorded. Like, it depends on the window, and it depends like how often do they need to do. If they're tapping beyond their window or their schedule, that information will be recorded. So and it depends really on the timing.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. So let's go on to our next competitor, our next finalist, Amit. Let me know when you have your presentation ready. And by the way, Gary, if you have any questions also, feel free to ask and to participate as well. So. Okay, so we'll have, let's see, the timer here, 10 minutes.
I think Amit's mic is off.
Oh, okay. Make sure you turn on your mic, Amit.
Is it okay now?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay, great. And everyone can see my screen as well?
Yes. Oh, no, not
Okay,
yet.
great.
I just set the timer here. So
okay.
This is an Olympic final, so we're going to be strict. 10 minutes, as I mentioned. So
okay.
Take it away, Amit.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for today is a very special day for me. Getting selected in the finals of this event is I never thought of it. So it really came as a big surprise. But look, I'm very, very happy. And overall, if I can say a few words before I start talking about MBOT, about this event is really, it's one of those events that I really always thought of having. And so it's really great, Tim, that you've organized such a great event, because what it really does is it gets the two of my favorite things, medical affairs and digital, all in one place. And that's where you can talk about innovations and ideas. And we know that, in your opening remarks, you said about medical affairs, innovation is very important. And that's really true, because as medical affairs professionals, in order to thrive in this ever-changing function, we really have to be innovative. And so, it's really great to be a part of this. So what I thought today was to really give a very brief background about MBOT, mainly because, I'm hoping everyone's been through my idea page and they've heard my presentation, previous presentations as well. So I won't get into too much detail what MBOT is, but just to sort of give, a brief, brief idea what MBOT is. So really, MBOT started as an idea, and the idea was based on this one big question that I had at the time, which was, where can I get credible medical information and something that's not out in the open, like the open AI. So really, MBOT started off as a big passion, came out of my passion for medical affairs and innovation, having knowledge of coding languages and medical affairs. I, as an entrepreneur, I saw this as an unmet need, as a big problem, and hence I went on to build MBOT. And I guess what's special about MBOT is really, I mean, like others, other great idea presenters on our platform. I don't have a team or a big company as such. It's really all by myself. So I came up with the idea. I built the platform and I executed, and it's really, all done by myself. And so really this is because, because it's really comes from that passion of, medical affairs and innovation. And talking about passion, another passion, or my true passion really lies in medicine and science. So we've heard a great story from Gary Hall Jr. about winning, he 5-time Olympian gold medal winner, and he's a type 1 diabetic as well. So myself, I'm a type 1 diabetic as well, and this is really where the passion for medicine and science comes. And to carry on to because I was so passionate about my condition, and I wanted to learn so much about what is really type 1 diabetes and how can I really make a difference as a patient myself, and perhaps help others who are in a similar condition like myself. So I went on to do a PhD in type 1 diabetes, and the topic of my PhD was really to find a cure for type 1 diabetes. And I was very fortunate to work in a great team, and my PhD led to an inception of a vaccine clinical trial for Coxsackie virus B4, which is one of the causative factors for type 1 diabetes. So I'm just talking about this just to sort of give you an idea about the passion where I'm coming from to really in this event. Now, so about MBOT, so really from a medical affairs perspective, and more specifically from a process point of view and medical operations point of view, so MBOT can streamline processes by speeding up information retrieval for HCPs. And it has the potential to simplify adverse event reporting, clinical trial recruitment. It enhances patient education. It also can help in improving user interactions, HCP interactions with patients, medication adherence as well. And the beauty of MBOT is that it keeps training itself as you go, and this is really purely based on user interactions and data analytics. And from a patient's outcomes point of view, MBOT can support, informed decisions, disease management, self-advocacy. It can offer valuable information that can connect patients to resources, also help and schedule appointments with their doctors, and really overall it helps in improving the health literacy, and hence it can ensure continuous support throughout the patient journey. So for today's presentation, what I thought is I'll do a really quick use case. So this is really, I sort of chose this use case just mainly because of a personal experience. A few years ago when I started as an MSL, I didn't have MBOT at the time, and I wish I did, because for on-demand coaching. So the use case today that I'm going to present is an MSL manager from a large pharma company requires their MSL teams to have on-demand coaching portal. And the portal is connected to the CRM because they want to use MBOT to assist MSLs, develop strategies, communication plans, engagement plans with KOLs within the territory and the therapy area. So I'm guessing many of our judges and hopefully attendees as well may have come across this scenario sometime during their time in their pharma career or in medical affairs. So really to resolve this, I've sort of created this use case, which is so I've also got to full disclaimer. So this is currently work in progress, and I'm working with a large pharma company to actually implement this out and really try it out. And so just for today's demonstration, I've de-identified the KOL name, and I've just given it a dummy name as Dr. John Howard. So So really, what I'll probably do is I'm just going to ask some simple questions, and I'm happy to open it up to the judges and to our attendees as well if they had a specific question that they would like to ask, and hopefully MBOT can come up with the appropriate response. So like I said, so our dummy HCP today is Dr. John Howard. So I'll go ahead and ask the first question simply. I have an appointment with Dr. Howard next week. Can you tell me what kind of doctor he is? So now, like I said, so what MBOT's going to do is it's going to pick up data from the CRM reports that obviously, every company uses. They have the quarterly reports that come out, from the CRM, and simply what you could do is you could just get that report. It's a document. You can put that on the knowledge base of MBOT, and it's gonna use NLP and NLU and come up with these kind of responses. So it gives you a really nice snapshot of what kind of Dr. John Howard is. And then I would ask, can you develop and engage, a 6-month engagement plan for me?
Amit, I just displayed the timer. We have about a minute left.
Okay, no problem. So I'll yeah. And so hopefully, based on the previous interactions that, based on the CRM report that, the MSLs within the medical affairs teams have had, based on those interactions, MBOT will look for that information, and then it will come up with this kind of really an engagement plan. And then another thing, what I'm currently working on, I just wanted to quickly show you that is, how can you turn this engagement plan into, say, a nice visual that you can see and perhaps download and use it later on. So you can ask a question, can you generate a visual for me? Okay, so you can see it really developed this little visual, as you can see. So again, so this is, like I said, it's work in progress. So I hope you don't mind the visual. I'm working with a content creator to make it a little bit more appealing. But this is really what the capability of MBOT is. So I know my time's up, so I'll stop talking. And I'm happy to take some questions and maybe some feedback and criticism if you have any. Thank you.
Thank you, Amit, very much. So we saw the votes earlier, the first real-time votes for Tamar, and they're quite high. She's higher than in this last semifinal, 44.8. So now's the time to vote for Amit, everyone. Let's vote for Amit. And meanwhile, Tamar, please feel free to comment and challenge Amit as well, or ask a question.
Yeah. Well, Amit, congratulations. I really applaud you for coming up with a vision and developing the product on your own.
Thank you.
I'm not sure when you started, but what are your thoughts on the entire movement of where AI is going? And I'm wondering whether your product is going to be absorbed or gulped by the massive big AI tools that have been already put out there. And today, like every platform, every CRM has already their own internal AI, and like those chatbots already being populated. So how are you different?
That's right. Yeah, really, really good question, Tamar. Thank you for that. So you're right. Where AI is currently going, it's headed, and especially within the context of medical affairs, there is a lot of AI applications coming up. So to how is MBOT different from different AI tools, different AI chatbots? It's mainly on the source of data that comes to MBOT. So MBOT works. It leverages large language models, but the source of the data comes from a curated knowledge base. And this curated knowledge base is really controlled by the users. So whatever credible documents they want to put onto the knowledge base, they can add onto that, and MBot will only fetch for data from those documents. Like other chatbots, AI chatbots that also use large language models, their source of information is from the World Wide Web. So obviously, you get a lot of credible information, but also a lot of non-credible information, and hence that's where the difference is for MBot. Having an open source versus a closed source.
And what's your plan in terms of going to market and commercializing it? When is the product going to go live?
That's really good question. So currently, look, I'm doing some really business planning and cost modeling. So I've got some initial sort of thoughts about what I want to do in terms of launching the product. So the initial thoughts are to really launch it sort of in two platforms, like two parts. One is where users can log on to a secured, secured portal with a secured password and login, where they can access information on various medical products listed on the FDA, EMA, TGA, clinical trials data, clinical literature data. So that's kind of like a portal that all the information is sourced, again, on the knowledge base from the public domain. And the second part would be for organizations and perhaps specific medical affairs teams to have to just have access to the portal for themselves, and they can really add in whatever documents, whatever information they want to put on the knowledge base. So say, for example, if a medical affairs team wants to come up with a training, on-demand training module, the one like how I just showed, they can have access to the platform and they can control everything that goes onto the platform, and they're really the sole owners of it. So these are, again, my initial thoughts. In terms of the launch date, look, I'm hoping, there's a lot of work in the background. So obviously, currently I'm doing a lot of trials with a number of different stakeholders. Yesterday, I presented a use case that's like a future use case. One was with a large pharma and another one was with a CRO. So these are really the insights that I get from these stakeholders and these organizations would be really helpful for me to, look at what, when would be the appropriate time for the launch.
Thank you. Good luck. Thank you,
Tamar.
Okay, so a lot of great momentum, as you have seen from Amit. In fact, throughout the competition, let's just share some real-time feedback, right? Again, which we're now becoming very familiar with in medical affairs, thanks to the Olympics, right? Let's just see. One moment. Meanwhile, please, if there are any other questions from the judges as I pull this up, let's continue our discussions. Liz, I see you. Yeah.
So, Amit, I have one question. A question for you.
Sure.
So, I love the idea, particularly internally, thinking about the different teams, right, using this, having the control of feeding exactly the type of data that you want, right, and getting particular answer either from a legal and regulatory type of way. My I don't know if concern is the right word, but it's the word that's coming to me right now, is when we are trying, if and when, which I could see this being used to actually give information externally, right? That we're not cherry picking, right? The data that's kind of curated. How and I'm that's my worry actually in many technologies that are out there. How do we make sure that either purposely or inadvertently, right? And I think I told you this once before, that we are not skewing the data to get a type of answer, right? So what are your thoughts around that? You may not have a particular answer on this, but that is my biggest, especially if it's going to patients or to HCP, it is important that the information is balanced, not just the data from the company, but also other data that's out there. But I totally get you, right? That it can't just be any type of data, right? We don't want just social media data. It has to be credible data. So how do you balance all of that out?
Absolutely, really good question, Liz. Thank you for that. And I you know, we've spoken about this in one of my last presentations as well. So I guess you know, where I'm really, you know, my thoughts about this is so firstly, it's a great you know, it's a very important factor. And I think the way I want to address this is, and perhaps, you know, if I could get some feedback from everyone on the group as well, it's really you know, developing these persona types. So because you know, the way MBOT works is really it fetches information from a knowledge base based on the document, based on the knowledge that you give to MBOT. So it doesn't really understand who is the user on the opposite end unless and until you define the user for MBOT. So you know, think of MBOT as sort of you know, something that you can train. And then based on the user type, it's going to remember that training and it's going to give you that answer based on who you are. So developing personas, and what I mean by that is, so, you know, when someone goes on to MBOT to ask a question, MBOT will ask back a question asking, are you a healthcare provider? Are you a patient? Are you a pharmacist? Are you a pharma professional, MSL, CAM, etc.? And based on what the input is given to MBOT, it's going to modulate using AI and NLU to come up with that appropriate answer. Because you're absolutely right, because we don't want patients to have to get information just that is within that comes from a organization, but they also want to get information that's out there and you know, external data as well. So definitely MBOT's got that capability, and I have developed some personas, but like I said, so, you know, it's a lot of training involved for the MBOT. Because it's a chatbot, so you have to provide with a number of different scenarios and utterances and intents for it to really understand what this persona type is. So that's what I'm working at the moment. So thank you for feedback last time. I've really taken that into account, and I'm definitely working on that. Yes.
Okay, so I provided a glimpse of the results before. So it appears that right now, at the moment, before the questions were asked, Amit, Tamara is in the lead. Okay, 44.8 versus 41.8. If we look at just some of the individual factors of the scores, we'll see that Tamara is scoring very high on the validity and 2 10s on the applicability as well. Let's look at Amit's data. So two high scores in the applicability department, novelty as well. And so this is before, of course, before the final vote. And we have one more comment from our audience. I also invite Rob, Michael Khan as well, Rob Adamowski and Michael Khan, to ask any questions if they have them. I know they may be on the phone. Let me know and I'll add you to the stage. But I think overall, I mean, this competition has been just amazing to observe, to watch all the diverse talent that we have, and but there's still room here to compete. Remember, and it's going to come down to who wants to win more as well, right? If we look at it as a competition, which it is, this 1 hour. So one question here from Rick Johansson. We're adding to the intrigue here, right? As we're coming to the final vote. I'm going to drop the final vote link right now. Rick Johansson asks this question, Amit. How would you handle two pharma regulatory teams that are in the same therapeutic area but want slightly different information in their database that trains MBOT?
Great. Thank you, Rick, for the great question. So if I understand, so it's really two separate pharma regulatory teams, I'm assuming, from two separate pharma organizations. And so if that's the case, so really it's, you know, sorry, Tim.
Yeah, sorry. If Rick, if you're following along, maybe you can clarify that. but to me, it seems like it's from the same company, but on same therapeutic area. I may misinterpret it, but I don't know what the others judges.
Yeah, I'm interpreting it as Amit is interpreting it. I guess maybe two companies, maybe they're in a partnership collaboration. So maybe they're in the same TA, but two different companies supporting the same product. That's how I'm reading it. Yeah.
Okay, he's confirming. Yes. Okay.
Thank you, Rick. So look, I guess that's easy, because if you're working with two separate pharmas, two separate regulatory teams, it's really two separate MBOTs for the two companies. So I guess the question is like, okay, so if they're working on the same therapy area, but obviously we've seen two different companies working the same pharma companies, they always have different stories about the therapy area, about their products. So really, whatever the story of that particular therapy area from that particular company is, that gets fed on to, say, MBOT 1 and the other one to MBOT 2. So really two separate, they're completely separate. But while we're talking on this, I can also talk a little bit about if there are two teams, say within an organization that work on a on a similar product or a similar therapy area. So that can be done as well. It's really like internal segregation, and it's all in the background. It's all based on the different coding algorithms that you can do, which is really, again, quite easy. So I've got the tech to do all that. So it's really separation and really defining and letting MBOT know where this data is from, and when users from this company ask these kind of questions, this is what the output should be. So there's always this separation will always be there. Yeah. I hope I answered your question, Rick.
Yeah, hope that answer was satisfactory. Rick, if you have any clarification, please submit it in your comments. And at this point, the suspense is probably at its maximum, right? At its highest. We're going to find out our gold medal winner, but you each have 3 minutes. Now, we've heard from Amit. Let's go now to Tamar and then Amit with a final compelling message to why your idea is relevant to the access, continuity, and quality of care, and why you should be the winner of this competition. Tamar, you have 3 minutes.
Yes, thank you. So my compelling message to you all is that we have an opportunity to streamline all stakeholders together. And it has been considered, or maybe we have some perceptions that pharma has typically been siloed from different stakeholders, may not necessarily be as connected with payer organizations or different groups. And we have here, through TAPT, an opportunity to align from the entire supply chain, from the manufacturer to pharmacies to payers to providers. And of course, always the patient needs to be at the center of this. An opportunity to really make those collaborations really truly happen and connect the dots, right? Because so far we haven't been really successful to really understand the patient journey truly. Evidence and data has been captured in silos, but this is really an opportunity to also look for pharma stakeholders to align with reimbursement and policies and quality metrics, because adherence, if you may know, there is really no objective measures for adherence to date. Everything is subjective. There are no quality measures that are capturing real-time adherence. And if we can truly validate this tool and measure it and start talking to CMS and different major organizations, implement TAPT as an objective measure for adherence, we can have a lot of discussions about prioritization, access to care, and having those conversations between payers and providers and step-up therapies, and if patients are adherent to their medication. So lots of opportunities for pharma to start playing in the sandbox. So we're calling for you to partner. to be part of this journey with us, and let's make a difference together.
Thank you, Tamara, very much. I've put Gary Hall, who's been patiently waiting, our 5-time Olympic gold medalist, patient advocate, keynote speaker, back on the stage, so that he can see himself in the studio as well. And he can also cheer on our 2 champions here as well. So, Amit, 3 minutes. Please.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So look, I can't stop saying thank you to everyone, for really having me here today, and to really giving me this opportunity to talk about my idea. So, obviously my idea is still in a conceptual stage, but I really see a bright future for MBOT. And this is really coming from my own personal experience, because, like how I explained how I came about to build MBOT is really because of that big unmet need, a big problem that we really have, in our industry, really, because, and especially more specifically in the medical affairs, because credible information is very paramount within medical affairs, because we're the front face of the company, and we go out and speak with a number of different stakeholders, including patients now as well. So we really have to be very credible in what kind of information we give. So I guess my thought, why MBOT is important is based on the few use cases that I presented, because MBOT is such a diverse platform. It can really be used. You can imagine different ways how you want to use it. There are, you can go wide imagination. So coaching, medical information, making medical processes, medical operations easy, clinical trial recruitment, patient education, patient support programs. So there are a number of different aspects you can use MBOT for. And where I am at this time with MBOT is really trialing with a number of different organizations, different stakeholders. And that's really the most insightful part for me, because that's what's really going to, what really will give, that to me is those various insights that I can make MBOT, keep making it better and better. So look, my aim is to really, get MBOT out as soon as possible. And I'm hoping a lot of people use it, and it keeps developing as you keep going. And look, thank you again to all the judges and all the attendees for coming and listening to our presentations today. And thank you, Tim, once again, and Media Pharma for organizing this really great event. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you both. Thank you both. So I have provided the link for the judges to vote, and so I'll share the screen as we receive the final votes, in the spirit of transparency and sportsmanship, and also competition as well, which we're celebrating, right? So let's look at our. First of all, you've seen the link, correct, judges? Yeah. Okay. And meanwhile, I do have a few videos from Olympic moments, and queued up just in case we take some time here. And we have Gary Hall as well. And Gary, we spoke about some of our highlights to open this final earlier, and we spoke about the respective competition, just the narrow margin with which you won. One detail that I had missed, that I wanted to also highlight, was very striking for me, which was, even as an Olympic gold medalist, you had to be in a particular top 2, or you had to have particular performance in order to have access to health insurance as a type 1 diabetes patient, because you weren't you weren't healthy enough to receive health insurance. And to me, that was striking, and that was something that that was memorable. And I think that we need to change, and we need to somehow address. So that's another point that I wanted to add. But anyone else from the judges and Gary? In terms of if please make any comments on the the access to healthcare and just what you have experienced throughout your address to our audience as well.
Yeah, I think that what makes a great athlete is also what will save our healthcare system, and that is being able to adapt, to pivot when we are confronted with challenges and setbacks. And these are faced daily. And it's these small manipulations, workarounds, creative solutions that make a better athlete and a better system and a better society. And so what I see here are important problems that are being addressed, and very brilliant and creative minds addressing them. And it gives me hope for the future, for our health system, and quality of life. So yeah. I'd like to say thank you, Tamar and Amit, both excellent presentations, and for all of your contributions to making the world a better place. Thank you.
Yeah, great.
Thank you for being an inspiration, Gary.
Well, I'll accept the title as cheerleader, and cheer for all of you.
So here's some of the individual. Yes. Thank you, Gary. And by the way, this was an optional invitation, and in his busy schedule, he found time to join us for this closing ceremony, because as tradition has it, in this event, we it would be great. I think it would only be fitting that an Olympian be here at the Olympic gold medalist help with the closing ceremonies, with the festivities. So we really appreciate that. Here are some of the final votes, individual responses. Some 10s for Tamar, more 10s here. Wow. So as the competition has gone on, I've observed that scores have only increased. So here's Tamar, 10 point on the causality for Amit, a couple of 10s here for applicability and causality for Tamar. So what we're going to do is we're going to export this data right now and just tally the results and announce the winner. So export all data. Okay. And so we have okay. So we're going to copy that into our spreadsheet, to our very high-tech spreadsheet, as you can see, with some formulas, built-in formulas.
Maybe you need mbot Tim to so it can come up with a response for you.
Yeah. There is a need that I did discover in more intricate survey questions, like in survey vehicles or programs that can address the complexity of the survey questions that we have and scoring as well, that I did discover in this process. So I do have the results, everyone, and I'm just trying to share the screen. That's all. Okay, I think this is no. Let's just share the entire. Well, let's see. Drum roll, right? Yeah, please help me with that. Okay. 1 second. Let's see if can you tell me if you can see this? Oh. No. All right. For some reason, it's not showing this. It's not showing the screen. I see it, but one moment. Wow. just at the time when we here we go. So we can see the results here, and we have a winner. Tamar Sapir. Congratulations, Tamar. 45.8. She's held on to the lead for the entire competition. Amit, congratulations. 42.4. Very high scores, lots of tens.
Thank you.
We've seen two competitors, two champions who have become also fellow Olympians in this village, in this forum, and also potentially partners who will be mentoring each other as well and continue the conversation. So congratulations, Tamar, first of all, for winning the gold, and Amit as well for winning the silver medal. Any comments from the judges at this point? Because you've been really sharing your feedback with them individually, and also became experts in their ideas.
Right. I think I'm as nervous and probably as overwhelmed as it may be as well, because it's been a journey over the last 2 weeks. I am excited for both of you, and I just have a feeling that I'm going to see you guys in the media somewhere, either some type with your products and stuff like that, and again, the more important thing is thank you for coming up these ideas, with these ideas that really help so many people. So congratulations to both of you.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you, Liz.
Okay, and this. So as I mentioned in the beginning, we asked our competitors, our 6 competitors from round 2, what song would they play if they were to win. And so, by the way, I will reveal now I can reveal the song from Amit as well. Okay, so Amit had shared the Rocky theme song, right? Tiger, right? Which is also one of my favorites. So, but Tamar is the winner today, and we're gonna play her song, the song that she chose, in a second, and then we're gonna close with Gary Hall Jr. If any other judges want to also make any comments, Rob, Michael, please let me know. You'll come up on stage. This is a certificate that you will receive, Tamar. $10,000 on behalf of Amadea Pharma will be awarded to Tamar as well, and you're the gold medalist. $5,000 from Amadea Pharma. We're very proud to grant to Amit Lalwani. Amit, congratulations for the silver medal as well. And we heard from Tanya Colonna, all right, our CEO and co-founder, also pole vaulter, and with a degree in biomedical engineering. She won the bronze medal. So she was here in the beginning. She wasn't able to stay on for the whole ceremony. So congratulations to her as well. Congratulations. So we have lots of comments here. Okay. So let's see here. Michael Kahn congratulates you both. Yeah, as you can see, exceptionally worthy and innovative projects, and he's going to see how they play out in the real world. So just like we did last year, even those who didn't win, didn't advance to even the semifinals, we heard from Noor, they formed tremendous partnerships. They were able to raise funding for their startups as well. I put Rob back on stage just in case he has any comments, and I'm just going to share a song that was the choice from Tamar. Okay, and we can relax and continue our festivities with music here real quick.
Dance in the background.
I'm sorry?
You can dance in the background.
Oh, dance in the background. Okay, I actually am on crutches here since Sunday. So that will be possible. And I know Rob has a surgery coming up. I know Liz had an issue this week. So we had judges who had some sports injuries, healthcare champions this week. Okay, what a great way to finish this session, and what a great message also, Tamar. thanks for explaining also the rationale, why you chose that song as well. I think it's very inspirational. This has been a sprint which allowed us to focus, I think, all of us across the globe in a time when it's very difficult to get anyone's attention. But we were able to really focus in the name of innovation, in the name of healthcare community, building a healthcare community, patients, improving their lives, making them more sustainable as a result of this. So I'm only grateful to all of you for participating, for giving this the attention that I think it merits, and sharing a lot of learning, where it allowed us to have this what organizational change experts call burstiness, where you see somebody in Australia, Amit, who's online at the same time that you are, and you're working on the same project, and you're giving each other feedback, for example, right? From all over, and that's what really was able to connect us, I think, all of us over the last 2 weeks. And we have 3 more months to use this platform, but that's going to go beyond that as we're all in this healthcare industry together and in this community. So those are thank you very much for your patience, for just your support. And I want to pass the baton now to Gary Hall, our Olympic champion, who's been graciously waiting to close the games.
Well, in keeping with the closing ceremonies of the Olympic movement, it is necessary to thank the host. And so that's you, Tim. Thank you for putting this together, putting this on. Thank you to Amadea Pharma and your contributions to making this happen. And with that nod of gratitude, I hereby declare that the Medical Affairs Innovation Olympics of 2023 is officially closed. Congratulations to the competitors and good luck.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you. Bye.